thanks to all of you for joining us today, and also thank you to those of you who will be watching us on demand. Let's get started, and I want to begin by sharing some of the progress we've made in the last year, which has probably been the most transformational in our history. And I'll start with a few highlights. First, we completed the acquisition of the market-leading IVA, Inference Solutions, who had created an incredible platform to make conversational AI a reality. And they were not only applying that technology to the voice channels, but also to digital channels. Next, on our core products, you all haven't been shy about sharing your evolving needs with us. And we responded, delivering over 200 new features in our products across WFO, digital channels, self-service, hyperscale architecture, and most recently, enhancements to our IVA platform with the launch of Studio 7. And many of you have been putting those new features to good use already, whether it's dealing with the overnight scale requirements that came as a result of the pandemic, or delivering on new ways to engage with your customers, and enabling self-service, or helping unprecedented levels of automation with conversational AI. So finally, to help many of you grow internationally, we added new public cloud instances both inside and outside of North America. And to better serve the needs of our European customers, we set up a new telco operations team in the UK. So those are just 3 examples out of many advances. But behind all of this activity is a single driving purpose: to bring innovative technologies and services to you to help transform your business. Now, those investments in innovation have been validated by a growing customer base. Over 1,300 of our customers expanded their use and footprint with Five9 in the last 12 months. And we also added a record-breaking 500 new customers to our platform. And we were honored to be helping so many of you this year, including companies like COVID Clinic, who trusted Five9 to help them scale and deal with the influx in demand for testing appointments and results, as they added more than 200 new testing sites across the US virtually overnight. Or take KR Communications, who used our latest AI innovations to create coaching cards for their agents to improve the overall customer service level that they were delivering and expand their revenue opportunity. And as part of that, they onboarded an additional 2,800 agents. And finally, NextRep, a longtime customer of Five9, who used our core intelligent contact center platform across their 2,000 agents to be able to deliver on the 2021 Stand Up to Cancer telecast for the 4th year in a row. Now, this telecast generates more than $100 million in funds that go towards cancer research. So those are just 3 examples of happy and growing customers. And while we added lots of new customers, we've also been able to maintain our well-known obsession for customer service and customer success, which is demonstrated by our NPS scores, which remain in the mid to high 80s. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of our customers. Now, I love talking about customers, which for Five9 is what matters most. But this year has been a year of awards and achievements for our whole team, whether in products with the big innovation awards for Agent Assist and IVA, or the many high rankings we've received from industry analysts. And here's the thing, we are just getting started. There is so much more to do in our industry. And so we've been hiring more people and growing our team at an unprecedented rate. In fact, in just the last 12 months, we have added about 800 new employees to the Five9 team, with 150 of them being part of our engineering group, and 300 as part of our professional services and support teams. And with every single new team member we bring on board, we work really hard to make sure that they embrace the Five9 culture that you know and love. These new employees have come to understand the importance of putting the customer first, working as a team, and showing up for our customers whenever you need us. So, whether it's key acquisitions, hundreds of new features and Five9ers, the investment is all driven by this maniacal focus on delivering to keep up with our customers. And one thing that's clear is that the demands on you from your business partners are growing rapidly. In fact, as McKinsey research showed us recently, the technology revolution is only growing in strength. With 9 out of the 10 industries, from entertainment to education, almost every industry has accepted the need to accelerate adoption of technology to reinvent their business. And right at the vanguard of that technology investment is the effort to transform customer service. So while things are moving faster than ever, we are really still just at the beginning of this exciting journey. In fact, that same McKinsey survey showed that across industries, consumers see tons of opportunity for improvement. Now, in some industries, it's about improving security and trust via the online channel, while in others, it's about making the journey more complete and taking it all the way through to post-sale support. Now, technology and technology transformation has come a long way, but it by itself is not enough. There is still tons of room for improvement. I mean, I don't know about you, but in my own life, I often run across brands who seem to be in the dark ages when it comes to supporting their customers. Whether that's hiding the phone number and making it impossible to get a hold of them, or terrible websites and bad self-service, there is still a lot of room for improvements. And so, while some companies are lagging, many of our customers are just the opposite. They're leading the way, and they're innovating and trying new things. So they're also optimizing the tried and true. So we have looked across our customer base and at the industry in general, and we found the companies and the leaders who are having the most success, the best of the best, so to speak. And we looked at what they're doing that's different than everyone else, and what they're doing that's helping them to stand out. And across every industry, 3 common factors emerged. First, they're moving faster than their competition. And that's driven, of course, by investments that they've made in technology and processes to be more nimble and able to react to customers and industry and competitive changes with lightning speed. Second, contact center leaders in these best of the best companies are increasingly stepping out of the boundaries of the contact center to share their technology and their data and their processes with their broader organizations. And finally, third, while everyone is investing to differentiate with digital channels, the best of the best aren't leaving voice behind. These companies recognize the importance of delivering choice to their customer with an excellent voice experience alongside world-class digital channels. So I'd now like to walk you through each of these 3 areas and what Five9 is doing to help you stand out in your industry. And I'll start with the drive to be nimble. You know, with the world moving faster than ever, the best of the best have invested in systems and processes to enable them to accelerate. And that's one of the underlying drives, of course, of the adoption of cloud technology. But for the best of the best, the move to the cloud is just the start. Now, this is especially clear in the realms of AI and automation. You know, while the intent to use AI and automation is strong, we still see that real implementation of these technologies in the contact center are really, frankly, in the early stages. In fact, in one of our studies earlier this year, the desire to use AI was really strong. But in reality, less than 10% of those surveyed had really gotten anywhere. So why is that? Well, because using AI is not just about flipping a switch. To really make it work, AI needs a lot of data. And it needs people to understand how to make it work. And who can afford, frankly, an army of data scientists? Not very many. So that's where our focus has been. Making AI and automation practical, making it easy to develop, easy to train, and easy to change. In other words, democratizing it. Now, at the core of this practical AI strategy is our recently launched Studio 7 solution, where we have enhanced our low-code, no-code capabilities to enable you to create complex conversational flows without the need to have 20 years of contact center experience and having spent 5 years as a developer. So we've enabled you to build flows from scratch, or you can build using some of the out-of-the-box pre-built tasks that we deliver. Now, while we know that every contact center is unique, we also understand that having a base to start from is going to help you get going quickly and get up to speed fast. And that's why we've delivered these out-of-the-box flows so that you can respond to change with lightning speed. Now, that's one example, but there are many more where we can help you take advantage and take the next steps once you've moved to the cloud. So let me move on to the next area, which is the boundaryless contact center. For years, the contact center has been an island and often a remote island. But now organizations are looking to their contact centers, who for many years have been the champions of customer experience, to share that knowledge, to share that data, and to share those processes with the rest of the company. In other words, the best of the best here are stepping up their influence outside the contact center. They've accelerated bringing their customer insights and their technologies and their people to bear to make the customer experience better and sharing that with the broader organization. We have two examples of customers who have been doing this recently. One is in healthcare, where they're using the contact center to create a better patient experience by arming their in-office receptionists with a wealth of information from the contact center platform on the patient who's walking in the front door. And when no one's there in person, that front desk receptionist is enabled to handle overflow contacts by being logged into Five9. Another example like that is a national retailer who's transforming their physical stores by enabling their in-person retail employees with Five9 to solve customers both in person and online with a more targeted and personalized experience. So those are just two examples of customers and contact centers that are acting in a boundaryless way, and we can share more of those in your specific industry. But three things are consistent across every industry. To create this boundaryless contact center, you need, one, access to data. You've got to arm everyone in the organization with their own version of the customer data cockpit that we have in the contact center. Two, you need to be able to connect systems together quickly, and this is where automation and workflow is absolutely key. And three, you need to have an open platform, because the number of technologies that you're going to need to integrate with to get a 360-degree view of your customer is only increasing. So think about those three areas as the bridges which connect the contact center island to the mainland of your company. And those bridges could be connecting your data from repositories like Salesforce or ServiceNow, where Five9 connects today, or connecting to your internal collaboration platforms like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or even taking the technology beyond the digital world and into the physical, like some of the examples I shared earlier. It's time for the island that was once the contact center to be connected to the mainland of your business. Now, let me move to the third area, and one that is near and dear to many of us and our hearts, and that is voice communications. Many of the leading companies that we talked to told us that while their investment in digital channels has been an ongoing priority for a long time, they also recognize that it's still an emerging area that needs more work. And for a lot of end users, despite the progress we've made, voice is still the preferred channel of choice. Now, the industry has been focused on digital channels for many years. After all, it's efficient, it's easier to automate, and it lines up with what younger generations say their preferences are: text and self-serve first, and talk only as a last resort. And I'll admit that to me, this approach made sense at first. After all, who wants to wait on hold, go through a touch-tone IVR, only to finally get through to someone who can't help you anyway? And I have talked to a lot of my peers in influential technology leadership roles over the last several years who've gone all in on this idea of digital. They're convinced that voice is dying, that digital is the only future that matters, and that the next generation essentially almost never wants to use their voice. Well, I'm calling BS on this. Because as a result of that thinking, much of the investment and attention in technology companies has focused almost exclusively on these new and exciting digital technologies, and consequently, voice technology has fallen behind. And after spending lots of time with best-in-class contact centers and speaking to many end users, I've come to see that this industry groupthink is really flawed. In fact, I'm calling this the digital fallacy. The digital fallacy is the belief that digital channels are the only things that matter and that voice is no longer important. Now, many smart folks have bought into this fallacy, And you can see it in the latest tech companies who launch these unicorns, and they don't even bother often to offer voice support, even when it's really needed. Well, we at Five9 have a different belief about what's really going on. And it's informed by our engagements with these best-in-class companies, but it's also informed by quantitative research. In fact, our most recent annual customer service index gave us clear feedback from businesses and end users alike that voice was still the preferred method of engagement. For example, from the US to the UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain, all these countries rank phone as the preferred choice when dealing with customer service issues. Now, you might say that this was the case due to the demographics that we surveyed, but we had a pretty wide range of demographics. And even in the 18 to 29-year-old group, still, more than 40% of them preferred voice as the primary channel. Now, in the same survey, we saw that when it came to issues that were considered urgent or sensitive, phone and voice was the preferred option in over 75 of the respondents. Why? Well, because in a world that's going digital and going remote and going online, people are missing that human engagement. You know, we want to feel heard, we want to feel understood. We crave that one-on-one empathetic interaction where we can convey the frustrations and the feelings that we have about our challenges. And that can really only come from voice today. So here's our belief at Five9. If you think about what drives people towards digital experience as a preference, it's almost always as a negative reaction to what I call the voice experience. So what is the voice experience? The voice experience refers to everything around the voice channel that no one likes. You have to stop what you're doing, find the number, make a call, go through an IVR, wait on hold, hope you reach someone, and so on and so on. And in many cases, this voice experience for end users is not good. And when you pick this apart, it's not the human voice itself that's the problem. It's the voice experience that's wrapped around it that's the big problem. You know, by itself, the human voice is a wonderful and magical instrument. It's rich with emotional intonation and cadence and tons of other dense information that's really hard to communicate over text. It's why we want to talk to someone when we're emotionally invested in finding an answer and finding an answer fast. So the error in thinking here is really the conflation of the human voice with the voice experience. In fact, I believe the root cause of the digital fallacy is the conflation of voice and the voice experience. In other words, voice experience is bad, hence voice is bad, and therefore all direction should be towards digital. Again, I am calling BS. No, we challenged this thinking and asked, well, what if you could turn the voice experience into a delightful experience? No waiting on hold, no IVRs, no runaround, just an incredibly delightful experience with a real human being who knows you and who's just the right expert at the right time. Now, that idea is not new. Of course, it's motherhood and apple pie. Everybody loves that. The hard part is how do you do that and do it affordably? And that's what we've been working on in Five9. It's an idea that unlocks the ability to deliver on that promise in a scalable and affordable way. And that idea is to turn voice into the next digital channel. So what does that mean? Well, it means applying the same AI, automation, and analytics to voice that digital channels have enjoyed for many, many years. Applying this technology to voice unlocks an entirely new world of possibilities. And we believe that it solves some of the difficult problems that have led to the bad voice experience. So we've made 3 important investments here to make this a reality. The first is IVA. As an industry, we have to kill the touch-tone IVR. Nobody likes it. And we're going to replace it with an amazing quality IVA. You know, we know that we just can't go and hire millions of people to instantly answer the phone whenever someone calls. We need to automate the experience, but we need to do that in a delightful way. And delightful and practical automation is what our IVA is all about. Second is an enabling technology for this IVA and for digital channel automation, and that's conversational AI. Because you can't have a delightful IVA if it can't hold a conversation with a real human being, or if it doesn't understand the person, or it gets confused. Finally, third is a technology we've discussed previously called VoiceStream. VoiceStream is a way for customers and partners to access the live data stream all the way down at the metal as conversations are happening in real time. Why is that meaningful? Well, because having access to the VoiceStream in real time can allow you to do some pretty smart things. And our partners have been working over the past year to build out some pretty cool use cases to turn that voice into value, such as using voice biometrics to authenticate callers and verify and route the interaction, voice analytics to detect sentiment and provide real-time agent coaching, and post-call voice analytics to help train AI, improve conversational-based IVA platforms, and automatically handle call transcriptions. Now, historically, getting access to the real-time voice stream has been hard, but that wasn't really an issue before we had affordable and human-level ASR, automatic speech recognition, in real time. But that technology is now here, and with that technology comes the need to access that voice data in real time. So the innovation here from Five9 is in the platform to make it easy, with the recognition that we can't solve all the problems. We need to open this platform to third parties in the broader industry for all of that innovation to flourish. So we believe that these three investment areas are key to helping bring voice into the digital era. So let me sum it up. It's been a busy year helping our customers through these unprecedented times and the challenges that come along with them. It's been a year of growth for Five9 and keeping up with you, our customers, and we are looking forward to a very, very exciting future together. At the same time, guided by our customers and those folks who represent the best of the best in each industry, we've got a strategy around driving innovation in our platform to help you become more nimble, to extend your influence into the rest of the business, and to finally turn voice into the next digital channel.